Today we're going to give you the origins and the power history of Godspeed. Now, the character of August Hart first appeared in Flash Rebirth #1 in 2016. Created by Joshua Williamson, August was a detective that worked on the murder of his own brother. George Hart was also a cop who was shot while patrolling during his shift. August vowed to bring his brother's murderer to justice, gathering enough evidence that he believed would point to the man that he thought killed his brother, a criminal named Billy Parks. Gathering his evidence, he brought it to Barry Allen, the best forensic scientist in the city, and after August dropped off the evidence and stepped out of the room, Barry was then hit by the Speed Force, transforming him into the Flash, but destroying all of the evidence that would link Billy Parks to the crime. With no concrete evidence left, George Hart's murder went unsolved. Now we jump forward to the present day, where the Flash was trying his best to protect the city, though he still laments the fact that even with all of his speed, he can't be everywhere that he needs to be, with every crime scene that he works on counting as a place he didn't get to in time. And with that, he arrives on the scene to find Detective Hart, who holds no grudge against Barry for the loss of his evidence, and he knows that Barry is still one of the best scientists in the city. August is forced to leave the scene as he's been assigned as security for a Star Labs convoy that is moving expensive equipment and tests to one of their other labs. Barry also has to leave as he remembers that he is late for his date with Iris and Wallace. At lunch, Barry begins to complain to Iris about how he feels like he isn't doing enough, and she gives him a brief pep talk, with Wallace pointing out that they're crushing on each other. Lunch is then interrupted by the sounds of police and fire department sirens, with Wallace checking the internet to discover that there is a fire nearby with people trapped inside, as well as a Star Labs convoy currently under attack by the domestic terror group known as Black Hole. Barry rushes away from the scene, speeding towards that fire, believing that August will be able to protect the convoy until he can arrive. Barry then continues to save people from the fire as a massive storm begins to form over the city. Now we go to Flash issue 1 from 2016. August Hart takes cover behind one of the police cruisers as the bullets chew through the pavement around him. He waves to the nearby patrolmen, shouting for them to get the civilians out of the fire. And as the Black Hole soldiers surround the Star Labs scientist, August stands, putting up his hands, asking them to take him as a hostage instead. "Cops always make better hostages," he shouts to them, with the rain pouring down as the terrorists look at him. "We're not in the business of taking hostages. We just came for what's rightfully ours," one says, and the leader of the group begins to move forward, informing August Hart that science is mankind's greatest weapon, and they are only taking what rightfully belongs to them. "Your death will provide a welcome distraction for my escape," he says as he gets into the Star Labs truck. "Hands in the air," one of the thugs shouts, but Hart refuses. "Not for you." His eyes widen as he recognizes the symbol on the thug's chest, the same symbol that was spray painted on the wall next to his brother's body. "Who the hell are you?" August demands, and the rain begins to pour down on them, soaking the city, thunder rumbling overhead. "We're Black Hole," the thug says as he raises his weapon and aims. He opens fire, but the Flash is running across the city, everything seemingly moving in slow motion, as the bullet leaves the gun and moves through the air towards its target. With everything moving slowly for the Flash, he rushes forward, watching as the bullet travels towards August. The thunder rumbles again, and a bolt of lightning cracks out of the sky, striking August in the chest. But Flash turns his head, and in that moment of thunder, lightning, and energy, he sees something moving incredibly fast, something that knocks the Black Hole goon away. The speedster stops, energy forming into August Hart, and the lightning crackles in his eyes as he looks at the Flash in shock. "What is happening to me?" he shouts. You see, at this time, Barry was unaware that the Black Hole organization had been experimenting with the Speed Force, and they had actually created a Speed Force storm. This storm is what gave August Hart his powers, and actually created a bunch of new speedsters across the city. August wished to use his new powers to become a hero. He created a costume and he began to train with Barry Allen, helping him fight crime while finding the others that had been given Speed Force powers. However, August would be injured by a mysterious speedster called Godspeed. He was hunting down the new speedster, sucking out the Speed Force, making himself even faster. After Dr. Mina had set up a Star Labs trading center for the speedsters, she was attacked by Godspeed and possibly killed, while the other speedsters there had been sucked dry of their Speed Force powers. August continued to help Barry as he put all of this together in an effort of finding Godspeed. Eventually, he would go see Iris, who was working on the Godspeed story, and she would show him what evidence she had gathered. Flipping through her files, Barry was shocked to discover that one of the victims of Godspeed wasn't a registered speedster, but it was a name that Barry Allen had recognized all too well. We now jump to Flash issue 6 from 2016. With August racing through the city, the Flash catches up to him. "We have to talk," he says to August grimly. They both stop, and Flash explains to August that he's been looking into Godspeed's victims. There was only one victim that didn't have access to the Speed Force. August pauses for a moment before pointing out that that doesn't fit Godspeed's MO. The victim was dragged, August. Dragged at super speed, energy beginning to crackle around him as he is confronting August. August smirks slightly, his own energy crackling. "Sounds personal," he says, already knowing that Barry has figured it out. "The victim's name was Billy Parks. Tell me you didn't do this," Barry says to him, but August looks him in the eyes. "He deserved to die." The two speedsters begin to argue, with Barry pointing out that Parks might have been innocent, but August shakes his head, telling Barry that he felt it in his gut. He tells him that he wasn't wrong, that he wanted justice for his brother. "Killing Parks isn't justice," Barry shouted at him. But August gets mad, and he begins to shout about how he was shocked that Barry still believes in the system. He points out that Barry wasn't there to help him, that he was too busy playing hero to help him bring his brother's murderer to justice. "I took the killer off the streets, and the others weren't using their powers anyway," he says to him. Barry is shocked that August just admitted to killing the other speedsters. August points out that death isn't the only thing that motivates Barry to be better, and the Flash lashes out at him, backhanding him at super speed. The energy begins to crackle around August more strongly, and his costume begins to shift, revealing his true identity underneath it. "I was trying to come up with a code name for myself. I thought about going with the new and improved Flash, but instead I realized with these powers, I am judge, jury, and executioner. I call myself Godspeed!" The Speed Force coming off of Godspeed in waves. "Try to catch me, Flash!" he shouts as he disappears in a burst of lightning. Flash chases after him, trying to talk sense into August, trying to tell him that he isn't a hero, but Godspeed whirls around. "Says you!" "How? How did you do this? You were with me when the others died," Barry demands, when suddenly there's another Godspeed over his shoulder. "I'm faster than you, Barry. So much faster that I can be in two places at once," he hisses as Barry realizes that the two Godspeeds are now surrounding him. They both rush forward and begin to hammer him with blows again and again. So Godspeed would go on to explain to Barry that he could sense the Speed Force calling to him whenever he was in close proximity to others that had been created by the Speed Force storm. He knew that he needed to become faster. He knew that he needed to become the best speedster. He didn't mean to kill them, it was a side effect of the siphoning process, though he did manage to learn how to do it without killing him. Flash then realized that he couldn't beat Godspeed, due to Godspeed being faster. So he would ask the other speedsters to give up their powers to make him faster and eventually face Godspeed once more. This time in Iron Heights, where the villain planned on killing all of the Flash's rogues. Barry would then work alongside the new Kid Flash and manage to defeat Godspeed. Godspeed would continue to appear sporadically, though he would admit that he was wrong about the past, and he would then aid Flash against several different villains. He would seem to become evil again when he fought against the Flash while working with the villain known as Paradox, though August Hart would later reveal that he was acting as a double agent and would help the Flash take down Paradox. August Hart would then be killed by Eobard Thawne, who promised that no one in the future would even remember his name, and that there would be nothing dedicated to him in the Flash Museum in the 25th century. As Flash eventually defeated Reverse Flash, he headed to the 25th century, and he discovered a statue to commemorate Godspeed. But back in the present day, August's grave was blurred by a yellow lightning bolt, implying that he was alive and running around. And there you have it, the origin of Godspeed, told with our complete story fashion, but also giving you a lot more context. His powers are basically superhuman speed, agility, reflexes, strength, durability. He can make multiple versions of himself. He has electrokinesis, vortex creation. He can become a Speed Force conduit. He has an aura. He can steal Speed Force. He has accelerated healing. He has enhanced senses, intangibility, and phasing. And he can do time-space manipulation. He's basically an evil version of the Flash that's just a little bit faster. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this style of us kind of revisiting some of the origins. I thought it'd be fun to merge George R. Styles, telling you where you can find the actual origin, what issue it would be located in, and what happens around it, but not spend 40 minutes just going over the entire arc. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is Comicstorian. Please consider liking, subscribing, and joining the Comicstorian family right here, right now. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.